My family and I went out for a movie night and checked out The Secret Life of Pets 2, and I was a little bit nervous about seeing this flick because I wasn't a big fan of the first movie, but I'm happy to report that there's a lot more focus this time around, and there's a lot better humor, a lot better storytelling.
And here we go.
We've got our super bunny Snowball, who gets tasked to go and save this circus tiger. And ultimately, this circus element turns out to be the big bad of the film. We've got this ringleader or this circus owner who's Russian, of course. It's safe to have the Russians be the bad guys. And he has a bunch of Russian wolves, and they're in constant pursuit of Snowball and this other little dog played by Tiffany Haddish.
My name is Daisy, and I really gotta talk to him.
And a lot of the cast members that we heard from the first film are all back. So we've got Kevin Hart as Snowball, who wants to be a superhero, but he's got some pretty funny little bits in there.
I'm doing superhero stuff. Tip, 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 tip.
The interplay between Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish is actually wonderful in this movie. I thought that was really cool.
Nice meeting you. What was it again? Okay, you don't listen. It's Daisy. Whatever.
The snow tiger that they have to rescue is just so adorable and massive and cute, and there's some great sequences in there where they're trying to basically train this giant cat to live in these tiny New York apartments, and I thought that was a nice juxtaposition. We've got Patton Oswalt in there as Max, who, you know, is very concerned about the kid that has entered his life and is a little bit too nervous and neurotic and freaked out that they actually put a cone around him so that he stopped scratching himself, which was very cute. Ah! We've got Lake Bell in there, who plays this cat that is just hilariously ready to knock stuff over and wants to poke and prod her owner until she wakes up and feeds her. She's very big, this cat. And there's this little dog named Gidget, who's played by Jenny Slate, who is hilarious, especially when she's surrounded by cats in the cat lady's apartment. That's a phenomenal scene in this movie.
Never gonna happen.
One of my favorite new characters in this now blossoming franchise, Rooster, the dog, played by Harrison Ford.
Name's Rooster.
And he's amazing in this, but how could you expect anything less out of the wonderful Harrison Ford? We're all huge Harrison Ford fans, aren't we? No, he's great. He truly is great.
You know how many electric cords I've chewed?
I dug that each one of these little pets actually has some character growth throughout it, and there is something to this franchise where it's not necessarily strung together like a, heartwarming Pixar adventure. It's more like little vignettes, little comedy sketches that are all sort of stitched together. This one a little more effectively. The little vignettes, the little sketches service the plot a little bit better. In the first one, it just felt like all of these intangible sequences, and it was all just like working too hard to play for laughs. But apparently people loved the first Secret of Pets film, and it became a big hit, and so here we are with the sequel.
Get rid of the cone.
Man, I would, but my therapist says I need it. It's a medical device. These doctors...
There. You're cured. Hallelujah.
I was very impressed by the visuals. Clearly, every time that these animators step up to the plate to build us one of these new animated adventures, they get better and better looking, and this one absolutely looks beautiful, whether we're in the city and cruising around and saw all of these urban environments, or we actually take a trip to the country. And you know what? It was a lot of fun. My family was smiling and laughing. My little kid was laughing all the way through it, and she had a great laugh, and it was making everybody around her laugh because she was into it, and it was very heartwarming to hear, the audience sort of getting behind this movie. I think the first movie was maybe a little too aggressive, a little abrasive. It was like trying so hard to entertain you, and I think this was a charming treat of a film. It was a nice getaway. It was not escape. It's not going to have the emotional resonance of some of the best CG animated stuff that we've seen out there. It's not like a Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or Pixar hitting on all cylinders, but this was pretty decent and a nice surprise. And I actually asked my daughter what she thought of this, because ultimately that's what's important, isn't it? And she had this to say.
What you're about to hear is the most dramatic thing you ever heard in your whole life.
It was a really good movie. The one thing that I really liked about it was then when this bunny named Snowball, he was like doing these ninja moves on the fence, and then they were on the fire escape, and then the dog, it was like, "What are you doing, little ninja bunny?" And that was one part that I really liked of the movie.
You're just wearing some superhero pajamas.
One part that I didn't really like about the movie was when the bad guy got defeated too quickly. Like in one scene, he was done. I think I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
So there you go. That's an expert opinion from my kid. She had a good time. I had a good time. I'm not going to rate it quite as high as she did, but I definitely think if you've got access to some family members and you want to go have a good time this weekend, you should go check out The Secret Life of Pets 2. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.